Oh my gosh, I wasn't done yet.
Welcome to A.M.O.K. We have begun already.
Welcome
It's
to
muckiness.
Oh my god. This is insane. You have no idea. I'm sitting there trying to hurry up and get off work so I can come over here and get everything started.
But you did it.
Did
Just
it.
as,
I've been
hey,
doing it 2 weeks in a row.
Woohoo!
hey, world, just in case you don't know, the guy that's usually over here, they are out of the country right now. They are playing hooky for
Having the time of
3
their
weeks.
lives.
And we kept telling them they got to do investigating, and they said no.
No.
And I'm like, what a bunch of wimps. But they have been posting some amazing pictures, though.
They have. Really cool.
Oh
cool.
man,
Looks
they
like
are
they're having a
beautiful
blast.
pictures. I'm sitting there so jelly right now
Right?
Yeah.
because I would love to be where they are.
I want to
Oh,
be.
hey, Enzo.
Hi,
And
Enzo.
then there's
Ginger.
Ginger. All right. So what do we have going on in the next couple of weeks? Anything?
Geneseo, Kansas UFO Day is coming up in 3 weeks.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. And you're gonna be there. You're gonna be there.
I'll be there.
Didn't Enzo go to Arizona?
Enzo
that
is back.
last-
He was in California. He was at Contact in the Desert. Yeah.
Oh.
And
Oh my
back.
goodness.
he's try again. He either just posted from a spaceship or he's back home.
He's back home.
Well, you know he can
was
post from his
actually
phone too.
Well, I know. Well, I mean,
He was
well,
on
you
the
know,
phone last night.
spaceship, 10 galaxies away or 10 light years away, whatever. Hey, Enzo.
Well, we have a fantabulous guest, and I
We
want
do.
to try to get him on before something happens and he's gone. So,
So,
Good idea.
we can go over this stuff at the end a little bit. That way we can just shorten the beginning and just lengthen the
Sounds
end.
good.
Okay, yeah. Who's our guest?
our guest is Jason Lee Montenegro. I know he was on a podcast
We don't have to mention that.
for a while. Well, he said it's okay.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but they focused on a lot of different things, and he has some quite interesting perspectives on the paranormal and how he approaches it, how he looks at it, what he thinks. And
Sweet.
I'm thinking that he kind of maybe wants to get to the point where he can explain to other people and teach them some different ways to look at things. I believe that's what his focus is. But you know what? We're going to find out for sure
Why don't we
as
ask
soon
him?
as you press that button.
Woo! There he is.
Welcome, Jason.
Hey.
Was that appropriate?
True. It was awesome.
You
Yes,
talk
I'll be
about
happy to
making
talk
up
about
stuff.
whatever.
It was
Well, we're A.M.O.K. What can I say?
Aptly named.
And
uh,
join. The-
Oh no.
yes. Yeah, he might be up there. Who knows? He hasn't said anything more, so
man.
maybe he only had a little bit of Wi-Fi to use. I don't know. Anyway,
So just to let the people know in the audience, in case we lose Jason, he's going to be
Oh,
helping
yes.
people. So
Yeah. So when I scheduled this, I didn't expect to be on call. My day job is on plateau in case there's somebody who has a myocardial infarction or a heart attack or some kind of chest pain or they need some emergency cardiac procedure. I have to go in and help assist a cardiologist in that procedure. So if for whatever chance that happens, I'm extremely sorry. Happy to reschedule and talk about this because I really like. I don't know if you see it in the description. I'm sure you do. I'm a C5 enthusiast. I'm not an expert. I like so it's kind of my thing.
Oh,
Very cool.
so more in the I can't even talk tonight.
ET category.
The ET category, basically the alien type stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
all right. So we'll just read.
Yes,
do it.
Enzo, you're going to
Reperspective.
have some questions on this one.
Right.
Okay.
So you've already told a little bit about yourself. How did you get into really looking at UFO type, or what's it called? Ufology, I believe it is.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've always had like a peripheral interest, if you want to call it that. And one day, in a documentary, or Dr. Stephen Greer documentary called CE5. And I bought it. And after that, I knew that this was something that was for those who do not know, which I'm pretty sure they already do know. CE5 stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and human contact with extraterrestrials. And so when I it, and so I thought, well, let me, let's continue this and see how where we could push this to. And then of course I ran into a lot of and so on, so I kind of my little thing right now is just kind of like tell this is possible, and it help us out as like our neighborhood within the cosmos. But I don't, and I just couldn't believe it, because what I was watching was just totally shocking. Even though, and maybe later on there may be questions about it, but I had some family encounters that happened, and I knew that there was a real thing as an adult.
Okay, so you've had some experiences, personal ones or just with your family?
Personal ones, with groups, by myself, not with my family and with me in tandem, but my father has had abduction experiences and a lot of contact in his lifetime. My grandmother, the best way I could describe it, if you guys are familiar with the story of Dorothea Izat, who had a documentary called Capturing the Light.
Yes.
She had a lot of experiences as her where there was a lot of orbs coming in and out of the house, and the family kind of got used to it. So that was kind of like something that was in tandem to that. And I didn't know about a lot of this stuff till I was grown. And then my godmother, bless her heart, she passed away some years ago. She had an experience where she was 5 years old. She was 5 years old. She was taken onto a craft. And the way that she describes it, and the way she had described it to me as a grown man, because I didn't know the full story, there was always rumors, but there was nothing confirmed until it came out of her mouth. That it was something that seemed like everybody was used to it. Like my great grandmother that had handed her over seemed like this was something that was normal. Now, for me personally, in my own memory of my memory bank, I've never had an abduction experience. But have I had experiences in my dreams that is hard to describe and discern? Yes. More recently than in my past.
Okay.
Really?
This current, let me just ask this. You said more recently, pretty much this current year or within the past 25, 26, or mostly 26?
Months, in the past 6 months, I had a room with a being, and it was on a table. I didn't describe it in one of the podcasts. It's still up there, and we could talk about that later. But
that's okay.
I described it in a podcast with Anthony, and I brought him on because he was a gentleman that had me extremely interested in dreams. And at that time, I had a dream just shortly before that podcast of a being that had something that was in front of me that had a lot of skin folds. And I didn't describe it. I was really nervous to state it in public, but I could describe it, I guess, now. I have the gall to do it. But the eyes were so blue and beautiful that it just reminded me of my sons, because my youngest son has the most incredible eyes in the world. And it just reminded me of this. I was just mesmerized by it. And yeah, now I can't say that. The odd thing too about for your dream state. Dreams are very, very, and this podcast isn't going to be about dreams, but as we know that it's like our other reality essentially. So there's a strong possibility that my other reality was encountered something that was strangely to me.
Okay, well, dreams is not off the list. I mean, I have dreams, and I see things during dreams as well. And but when you said blue eyes, was that particular? I'm going to use the word loosely here. Species or type? Was it more like a what people call like the Nordic type person or alien type being?
This being was no. So remember, this is in a dream, so the
right. I understand.
The details are very vague.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be like you were just human being.
Right.
It was just looked so familiar with me, and that was one dream experience. Gotcha. And then several years ago, 6 months before I started CE5, I had a dream experience where I was in the field. And there was many craft with me. I'm familiar with that field because it was across the street from my duplex. And I remember waking up from that dream thinking, "Man, I'm watching too many sci-fi movies or something. I need you know." And then about 6 months later, that's when I discovered the documentary CE5, and it totally changed my life and kind of put me down this path.
Okay. Well,
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
So you're talking about, other members of your family are experiencers. Do you feel like that is a common thread? Is that maybe a familial thing? Do you think that's a reason why you're so interested or why you're having the dreams? Or does that seem to play into it at all?
So you remember the dreams, I've only had a handful of dreams. I've never put too much stock in that. The familial stuff, nobody talks about that, so I don't put much stock in that. So there's like a lot of nuances I don't put stock in because there's no follow-up to it. When I'm doing CE active, you know what I mean? That's a big discrepancy. I'm really glad you brought up because I can't put stock in once in a while or like something that just happens, or something that nobody's open and talking about. I'm really active into giving it a shot and trying to encounter, which is a big part of it. Because you can live in the past and talk about, what happened, and you can try to do it right now, or you can give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's you can do it, and I'm a regular guy. Like I don't go in a cave for 10 hours and meditate and have crystals all over me and blowing incense, and I don't have a little cult following or anything like that. I'm just I got a dad bod, and I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I drive several hours to the job. Like I'm totally normal, or normal-ish, so
Okay. So do you it sounds like you do, or you've been trying to do research on this whole concept. Do you have experiments that you have been trying to run to either debunk or prove or find more knowledge of what you're experienced or what you have experienced?
I'm so glad you asked that. So with CE5, even though I do the CE5 Stephen Greer protocols, there's actually many different protocols and different ways you can go about contacting the extraterrestrials, which is a big argument within the community of who's right and which way is right to find their own way. And I think that's kind of like what became a big fallout between me and a lot of other people, because I liked my way and I was okay with my way. But when people they surpass a certain technique or they surpass a certain thing, they feel they move on. You're John Lennon or you're Justin Timberlake. You could do great with a group, but you want to do stuff on your own, right? Or you want to start your own thing. So that's like a big thing, and I don't mind doing this because I'm okay with the process. But a big contention with a lot of people that leave the process, they feel like they don't want to be like leashed to it, and I understand that because they don't want to feel like they have to depend on it. Because there's people that could do this without a meditation, without tones, or without lights. But I like to do it this way because this is how I was introduced to it, and I like to teach other people in this way, and it's fine. It's something I had to learn. But also, with that being said, I like to just go on my own these days. kind of fun. That's another thing I'm just kind of want to through. I feel like I'm in the subject very well. I'm just kind of answering the questions, but I'm really glad you talked about this because in many ways, and I like to preach my own. Not going to be the right way. Is the best answer I can give you. So I different meditations, you name it. I've even thought about doing it in sensory deprivation tanks. I don't know if you guys ever been in a few of them or not. I'm really into that. So I've floated through space in sensory deprivation tanks, conversations with God or extraterrestrials. I have not done that yet. There's a kind of a taboo modality, if you want to call it, through like DMT. I have never done that, but there's a lot of people that I've met in my little circles that have, and they've had varying things that they said about whatever they're encountering. I'm not certain of that, but I do know it's real. I just never experienced it myself.
Okay. And you mentioned something about, that you don't want to push your ideas on somebody. That's not our focus. Our focus is to hear other people's perspectives. It's the same way for me. I mean, I'm predominantly a paranormal investigator of the spirit world. I have a really deep interest in NDEs and in UFOs and cryptids. I mean, I've got a really deep interest in all of that. And I've experienced something in all the different categories. But whenever I hear somebody else, for example, at a conference, they will be talking about something that I'm kind of familiar with, but all of a sudden they may throw out 3 or 4 words as like, oh my God, I never thought about it that way. And then that gets you, I'm not going to say down a rabbit hole, but start to look at that and say, does that fit with what I believe? And my perceptions have changed over the last 20 plus years. So is it kind of the same for you?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started, I didn't believe that ETs were on this planet. That shortly changed after that. There's plenty of evidence of that. And then I didn't really take into the spiritual account. And if you guys maybe have encountered on this part about QHHT or the quantitative healing hypnotic therapy, and I've had a few individuals come in and out of my groups with that. I'd rather not touch on that because that's not my field house. But that was another aspect that I didn't really consider, that essentially that's with what's the best way I could put it, reincarnation, but reincarnation with extraterrestrials essentially, because like people were different extraterrestrial beings in different parts of time essentially on different cosmos. And then you have this notion of star seeds, people that were here from other galaxies, other planets that were here, their spirit were from somewhere elsewhere. There's other aspects of that when it comes to children and individuals on the spectrum, that they were either brought essentially from God, or they were straight light beings. They didn't have other life experiences before they were brought here. And it's about all that stuff. I'm telling you, it's hard to put it on paper. It's hard to put it in science, right? Sure, stories, but you need solid, right? So that's why I was like, CE5 is incredible, because it's something that you can see one, teach one, do one, right? Or excuse me, like in medicine, see one, do one, teach one. So what this process does, and in case if I haven't been really forward with it. So there's 3 things you need to do before you get engaged in this. You need to have a pure heart, you need to have clear intent, and you need to want to join these individuals in universal peace. Now I say individuals or people or extraterrestrials, because aliens does have a bad connotation. And I've always just had, when we talked about earlier about mindset, if you change your mindset that these are people and not just like, I guess the word alien, like the movies, I think of them as people. Yeah. You just remember that they're like us, that they're not perfect. That's another thing too, that I kind of fell into it for a little bit before I go into about it. You treat it like as kind of like a meeting, and nothing more than that. Okay. It's not like a I just wouldn't put too much stock into it all the time. or put too much too much importance of yourself into it, because you're trying to be ambassador of this to meet these beings, and in order to try to have like a good communication or a good foundation, which will lead down in the future. Hopefully, I don't know, we'll see. But you need to have those three things: clear heart, pure intent, and want to join them in universal peace. And then you go into whatever protocol you want. But I don't know if you guys wanted me to go by steps of protocols, or if you guys just wanted me to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
no, start with that. I'm interested, and I think if I am,
Yeah,
I'm sure
I
I'm-
am.
too.
I'm absolutely interested.
I look at it as a sandwich, right? Or just like a goal, right? Our goal is we're gonna try to meet extraterrestrial beings. We're gonna do our best, right, as a group. Me, whoever else, if they want to call themselves expert, that's great. I need them to show up, right? So I will let whoever is going to come. I will send them the location of where we're going to go to, and I like to use lakes for a reason. The reason I like to use lakes is later on when I'm going to explain coherent thought sequencing is when you're showing the civilization or the being or the craft where you're at, specific topography and specific geographic location of the area, and lakes are really easy to remember the shape. When you show them the planet and you show them with the continent or state that you're in, if you show them the lake or the area you're in, it's really easy to show them the outline. Keystone. Where else? Those are the two main lakes I'm trying to think. I know I wrote down a few of them, but those are Stroud is easy because it kind of looks like Florida, and Keystone I like. I'm trying Holbert, Oklahoma also. In Holbert, Oklahoma, right there in I'm trying to remember the name of it. Sequoia State Park. There's an old airland. Anyway, it's like a straight edge where I used to take groups. So that was easy for me to use to like zoom in essentially. So I will send the group the area we're gonna go, usually like 2 weeks out. And then so like if you want to call it like prep work, if you want to call it that, I'll meditate 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. You don't necessarily have to do anything in the meditation, just practice. Just kind of be fun with it. If you try to be like really rigid and really like hard on yourself on meditation, it's not going to work. You kind of have to have fun with it and just do your best to clear your mind. The technique I use for meditation is I just focus on the breathing, or I'll listen to music and focus on that. And then eventually my mind was kind of blank out. And then the day of the event, I'll do a morning meditation, just kind of like a morning prayer, if you will. Go about my day. Later on that day, I'll meet up the group at a Quick Trip or a gas station. We'll gather any little leftover supplies or whatever. I usually recommend people eat like a small meal before they go out. Not too much, because we may be doing a little bit of walking when we get there. When we get there to the area. On the way after the one little ritual I like to do after we leave the gas station, I like to play music, like blast music on the way to the spot. I'll play a lot of Bee Gees. I'm really into classical, Paramore. 70s is my favorite. But then once in a blue moon, I'll throw some 90s rap in there. But I try not to throw it in there too much because it kind of throws off the good vibrations, if you will. A lot of Beatles. Anyway, we'll go there. We'll set up the group. If it's cold, but I try to recommend we bring like a lot of blankets, a lot of extra clothing, I have like my own little fire pit that I bring. And after we set up with the group, kind of talk a little bit, get to know each other, especially for strangers. And basically, we'll use our phones to zoom in and out of our location to help us out later on in the night when we're going to do the meditation. So sometimes they'll forget or like, it's like, well, let's kind of do like a little review. Then to protocols. Here, I know it's really silly, but the thing about a lot of the silly stuff is simple, right? So the protocols, thought, light, and sound. So the thought is the meditation, the light is the lasers, and the sounds are the tones. So you play these crop circle tones, which I know are used some people use it in the spiritual realm, in the metaphysical realm to conjure. But anyway, you play these crop circle tones over a speaker and a walkie-talkie. You can do that for about 10 minutes. I don't want to confuse it, but sometimes there have been craft that's shown up right before we do protocols, right in the middle of it, and just like at different times. But the funny thing is, we've been contacted before through the walkie-talkies also, where they played specifically in one time in Dakota State. Excuse me, it's in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, but the park is called Dakota Public Use Area. It's right next to Sparrow Hawk Campground, and if you're familiar with it, it's like a really common area that you would go and float. So I've done C5 there a few times, but in one particular time, the civilization played a tone over the walkie-talkie, and what was really cool, I had kids with us. So we had like 5 or 6 kids with us, and so that was kind of a nice thing because the kids may have been nervous about the whole situation. That's another thing about group work too. They'll adjust to the fear level of the individuals, if you will. So if somebody's not like completely up for it, they may not show up physically right then and there, essentially.
Oh,
Interesting.
wow. That is very interesting.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a from Enzo.
You want to
I'll
say?
wait for him to actually ask.
So,
Because some
I'm glad
investigators,
this is a great question.
yeah,
Go ahead.
some investigators have experienced a hitchhiker effect when using CE5 of poltergeist or shadow person activity afterwards. Do you consider CE5 safe?
So the only like hitchhiker effect one time, I think I have video of it on my YouTube, but one time after a Keystone Lake experience that I had, they followed us to our home. But actually inside of our home, no, not that I'm aware of. And poltergeist, no, not in the home, none I'm aware of. They've never actually entered my home, which has been really nice. I really appreciate that because I've talked to the kids about it several times. Like, hey, because I'm engaged in this, like, if something shows up, just be cool about it. Don't freak out, because I don't want anything bad to happen. Because I'm only 6 or 7 years into this. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Okay. So by hitchhiker effect, are we talking about like attachments or just, or is it based on intentions, like we would call attachments, in the ghosty type realm, which it's the same thing. I mean, we're talking, as you said, ET beings, and ghosts. Attachments for us, hitchhikers for you, is it kind of the same, synonymous maybe?
Yeah. So one of the odd things is for me in particular, now this is not for everybody, none of the civilizations I've been in contact actually specifically told me where they're from. They materialized. I had close encounters, if you want to call them that. So when one C5 I did by myself, I had one extraterrestrial touch my leg, and I notified that it was okay, but it never materialized. And then another time where I was in the meditation early in the morning, and it knows my sense of humor. This one ET showed up in the closet and then disappeared like a blue circle like that, because it knows I like that game. So I was.
Oh, you made us look. I see what you did there.
No, yeah. But yeah, I was. But besides that, like none has ever actually like shown up and said, "Hey, this is where we're from," yada yada, and none have actually been in my house. Like besides that blue and one. Which sucks because like I want to give you guys a cool story, but I don't have that yet. I'm still working on it because you got to remember we're like a grain of sand in 10 billion beaches. There are so many civilizations, and so many forms and shapes and so many dimensions. We're like at the very tip of this thing, and then also we're dealing with consciousness as well. So it's like so many points of consciousness, and we're kind of like all part of this huge net. So we're just doing our best to kind of figure it out together. It's I kind of leaned back into this book I heard about a few months ago called My Big Fat Toe, Thomas Campbell, The Theory of Everything. And he's like a big consciousness doctor, if you want to call it that. And it's kind of opened my mind into things beyond extraterrestrial in your normal day life, if you will.
Okay.
Interesting.
Some really interesting stuff here.
It is very.
I mean, you talk about Okay, so you say you. No, I can't even come up with the question. So you speak to them, you converse with them.
So there have been times. So that's the other thing. I didn't get to finish the C5 protocols. I felt this is the rant that I felt. I told you guys I was gonna go off on, and I'm sorry about that. So there have been
Oh,
like
you're fine.
telepathic conversations that have been really short. But what's so funny is either they know I'm really, or they know that I'm listening to me because the one that I had was really hilarious when my son was in the house with me. One said, "Hey, bro, we're gonna come out really quick." They really said this to me. What's so funny is they'll say it to you in your own voice, but you know it's them because it's not. It's kind of a. I've heard this described too with other
Random.
contactees. It's kind of like a tuning. You guys ever done like the little tuning fork?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
Yeah.
tuning, and it was something that spoke to me in my own voice saying, "Hey, bro, we're going to be outside in a few minutes. Bring your son out there with you." And I'm just like, ah! I go and grab Alex. Like, hey, you're gonna freak out. Come with me. And we go outside, and this light shit comes above our duplex there, and and I do the same thing almost every time. I wave hi to every craft I see. So I waved high. It waved high back at us. It did a few flashes to us and took right off. And of course, my son is there frozen, just like in disbelief, And I was
You're
like,
like,
well, this is what I'm telling you guys. I was like, this is a real thing. So like a big part of like me talking about this, I want people to be normalized with this because I want them to get over the fear of this because they're not our enemies. Because if they wanted to do something
So
to us, they really done it.
my biggest question on that is, do you think they only reveal themselves to certain people, or do you think that they're all just accidental? Some of them are just accidentally seen.
So, I think people because I'm more stern about the way I look at it because I'm more about like what you can prove, but also a big part of like the metaphysical stuff is like they talk about your vibration and your attitude and who you are as a person, like who you really are. You can fake it all you want, but like who you really are is really who you really are. So like if you're really like a joyful, happy person and you're really like and you love life and you're trying to do the best you can, I'm pretty sure you're pretty open to this. Or if you're not, they would be open to meeting you because they're not really meeting. They're really not trying to meet like jerks. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you do have jerks that come with you, but it's a personality thing. But you can't help it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you are the one.
One,
You don't even know it at the moment. You know.
the only reason
Uh,
I ask is, have you ever heard of the orange lights over Destin, Florida?
of course. Yeah.
I was before I moved here to Oklahoma, I was living in Destin and Marietta, Florida, and we saw, and I actually videotaped a lot of orange lights that were in my friend's backyard. She called me up and she was like, "You need to come out here and you need to see this because this is crazy." So we go to her backyard and there's like 3 large orange globes, I guess you could say, but one would brighten and the others would dim. It's like they were talking to each other. One would brighten, the other 2 would dim, then the other one would brighten, and then the other 2 would dim. And I videotaped this for, gosh, probably about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And we were out there for like an hour, 2 hours watching it. And I come here and somebody else mentions it to me. Well, of course, I'm researching it, trying to find out information. I don't see nothing about orange lights until the orange lights in Destin in 2011. So what happened to the ones in 2007? Because I saw them with my own eyes. I recorded it. My house was robbed like 6 months after moving in, a year after moving in. And lo and behold, that one phone, it was an old phone. It was in my drawer. And that one phone was the only thing that was taken out of my drawer. There was other things that were taken around the house, but it was just kind of odd to me that out of that drawer, because there was a lot of electronics in that drawer, that one phone was taken. I mean, I don't know. Conspiracy theory, that's me. But I just find it odd that I don't see anything about the ones in 2007. But I have other friends that have witnessed the ones in 2007. But the one in 2011 are the ones that are popular.
It's a forced Mandela effect. Government forced. I don't know. I just made that up. I just made that up.
So I think everywhere can kind of be a hot spot, which is kind of the reason why I like the protocol, because you can, instead of like going to a hot spot, you can make where you're at a hot spot, if you want to call it that. Like you can do it. Especially, you have to believe in yourself. But the thing about Florida, my uncle didn't tell me until I was a grown man doing this. He saw a craft come out of the ocean off of Miami Beach. My aunt, which I think was a forced, I believe my mom forced herself not to remember it because my aunt wouldn't make stuff up like this. But I have the aunt that was married to that uncle I spoke about. There was a craft that came close to their home, and she spoke to my mom. She's like, "Hey, how do you not remember that?" It's like we were freaked out. We ran into the house. So there's like a lot of stuff in Florida and South America that happens that's either not reported or recorded or whatever. And then of course you took Miami. The Miami incident that happened about 2 years in the mall.
Yes.
And I joked about it on the podcast because I'm half Cuban, that like the Cuban people are super serious, and there was no way that any piece of technology or tape got out of that building without them knowing. So of course that they have it locked down because 200 cops don't show up for a kids fight or for a high school fight. No, they don't do that. Yeah. That something else was going on that night, but I wasn't there. So another thing that you guys, I'm really interested, nobody's asked about, that gets really confusing too. It's a term, ultra terrestrial. And I think that is the big confusion that's the parallel between the extraterrestrial stuff and the paranormal stuff that we're seeing. Because when you use the term ultra terrestrial, what you're engaging with was the idea and the notion and the fact that we are living on a planet with different dimensions. And we're living on this planet with other beings that are inhabiting these other dimensions. But are they Bigfoot, the Fae or Fairy, other type of extraterrestrial beings, other type of future humans, which is another thing. That kept me motivated in this. So some years ago, oh wait, there's a question.
No, he was just saying that was an overwhelming response by the police.
Yeah.
In Florida. That was crazy.
That sure was.
But you're talking about ultra terrestrial. I'm sorry.
Ultra terrestrial, yeah.
So there's now a prevailing theory that a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, the dogmen, UFOs, or whatever, are actual ultra terrestrials that are essentially either messing with us or whatever. And that's hard to discern because we're all kind of working from our own point of view, and we're all just kind of figuring out. My dream was to always kind of make paranormal investigations to be like a mutual thing, and not just like it's me, because there's always money to be made. That's kind of like the weird thing that I didn't realize. I was like, okay, like,
that's a very unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
So ultra terrestrial. I had not really. I don't think I've ever heard that term, but I do. I think that would be an equation to or equal to like what we might call portals into other dimensions. So ultra terrestrial. That's a much better word to use than portals, because I'm being serious here too.
So I didn't give that much credit to that until obviously a lot of stories. But are you guys familiar with Russ Colehart on News Nation YouTube?
No, I'm not.
So Russ Colehart, he was the first person to interview David Grush, which is the person that's on the doing that. Another individual, I'm going to butcher his name. He's a former operator that was doing the recovery of the craft. I have to go back in this other stuff, and he has film of the craft as well. It was like an egg-shaped craft that they took on a helicopter. If my memory ever works, this gentleman also spoke about an experience that he had, like essentially like a spiritual experience where he was connected to the being on the craft, and that he had felt the being's pain, and it was dying, and it really changed him inside. So I don't even know where to go with this, but with Russ Colehart is such a trusted journalist that an individual brought him to a portal. I strongly suggest you guys watch his News Nation interviews. But they brought him to a portal. There are several portals that are located in national parks and different locations in the world that are heavily protected. And I thought that was BS, but a journalist is not gonna put his journalistic integrity like that on the line if it's not true. So all these people and these former military and former park rangers have been talking about it. I feel like they're vindicated as well. Where those portals are going, I don't know. But I did visit it's called War Camp Crystal Mine in Mena, Arkansas.
Been there.
And there's a gentleman there that I'm pretty sure you know. Orville that have spoken about his portal experiences, and they're quite fascinating. And he's quite fascinating. I hope he's doing okay. He's a cool guy.
Last time I heard, he was doing fine.
Yeah.
So. But that is a really interesting area. I spent 2 days there, a couple of years ago, and I've been talking to him. I want to go back pretty soon. So I agree, Enzo. Yes, there is. But I truly think that.
That was a question.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Was this the portal near Sedona?
I don't remember him specifically saying it. I've never seen one. But I trust a lot of I trust people mainly because I don't see a lot of reason for them to lie. If they lie, like it's just a weird thing. Like, why would you lie about that? This is like a serious thing to some people. I mean, they put their lives on the line for that.
Enzo.
There are a lot of journalists out there though that would lie through their teeth just to get clickbait or views, though. So that's the biggest kind of when it comes.
So he's super open in the community.
You gotta have credibility.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as he's credible in the community.
There's three major figures. Yeah. There's three major figures in the C5 to me. There's Dr. Stephen Greer, a gentleman by the name of James Gilliland that has an ESETI wrench. It's located in Washington. And then another gentleman by the name of Peter Maxwell Slattery. The reason I say that is because Russ Colhart is Australian and has visited Peter Maxwell Slattery's giant sanctuary several times and has had experiences with, ET, NHI, whatever you want to term it. Yeah. It's so many new terms now. I grew up with UFOs and ETs. Like,
it's just UFOs and ETs to me.
It does, yeah.
Enzo said something earlier that there's always that trickster element to this thing. Is it a ghost? Is it an alien? Is it some interdimensional just messing with us? We run into that a lot with some of the stuff that we do. Is the trickster element to things? And it's an interesting way to look at it.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, we even talk about owls. I don't know if that's this is something I haven't experienced with myself, but that kind of molds in between because the owl is in our mythology, and with those experiences, it's kind of like a coming of age, if you will, what that person goes through, what they learn. It's kind of hard to describe because I've never had an owl experience. But is that a trickster or is that an extraterrestrial, form that's helping this individual go through this spiritual experience? Because there's a lot of tandem with that. And the thing is that what sucks is like, I want to know too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the facts. Yeah. And that's been a big argument with a lot of people within my groups. It was like, hey man, I don't know if it's all physical, if it's all spiritual. I'm just doing the best that I can with what I'm working with,
Yep.
And that really is not an answer that most people like.
True.
We had done a show, not on I'm on another podcast, and we had done a show on owls and the paranormal and things like that. And we ran across a lot of stories and things about it, where it appeared that extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, either one, would make themselves into an owl, or would make you think you were looking at an owl, just to not freak you out, if nothing else. And there was one where some people were going down a path and they see this small creature, this being, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's an ET!" And all of a sudden it's like it started saying, "Owl, owl, you're looking at an owl, owl." It's like it couldn't get it shilled up. It was just like, "You're supposed to see an owl. You're not supposed to see me." And it's a really, really cool way to think maybe they are, kind of doing that. So maybe they are the tricksters, or we perceive them as tricksters, in that case. It's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
Interesting. A while ago,
I wish I knew.
Yeah. Right.
a while ago you mentioned something about you were talking about that one spot that you gathered and went to, that you had you think you had a ET speak over your walkie-talkie. Is that something that's
Oh no,
was that
tones.
just sounds?
Mhm.
Okay. Have you ever had
Yeah, like music.
music? Okay. So have you ever? But okay, I'll change my note here. Um, but have you ever had just communication or just a conversation? And have you tried using what I use a lot is like a spirit box or something in any of your events?
So that's where it gets a little confusing. Where I tell people, so when I was going through the process about the tones, the next process was the meditation. And in the meditation, essentially, you're trying to basically become one with the universe. Go is basically like all meditations you're going to do. You awaken into deep space, perceive, see, encounter, remote view, whatever term I feel it. I don't know if that's just like I guess the category that somebody put me some years ago is like I'm an empath, I guess. Like I feel people. So I feel this energy within the cosmos, and essentially I introduce myself, I introduce my group members, and then I show these entities where I'm at on the planet. And so I show them the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, and the planet, and where we're at. And basically, I do it in a reel where I'll just like zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. And so the thing about the communication is that after that happens, I do try to keep open to anything that comes in, like any telepathic communication, any feeling, anything that comes in. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they're just focused on, I want to see a UFO. I want to see a craft. And it's like, I get it. Like everybody does. It's the coolest thing in the world, but we're trying to communicate with these beings and they show up any way they want. So you're just going to have to we're just going to have to like buckle down and see what happens. You don't know what's going to happen because I'm not a mind reader or fortune teller or future teller. I'm engaging in this process and doing the best that I can. And they have, like I mentioned earlier, so they've shown up in craft. In my first group experience, you can hear them walking around us. I've had experiences where they've touched us. And of course, in other groups, they've had experiences where they have that classical, something shows up and they get out of the craft and they introduce themselves. And of course, they're all probably freaking out because they didn't probably expect that to happen, but it does. Sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, with them walking around you, they'll just materialize where you're at. I've had craft materialize because you're just there waiting for a craft. You know, sometimes they come in at different angles. But when there was one time I saw one materialize, and it freaked me out because it was something out of a sci-fi movie. Because it looked like the best way I could describe it, it looked like a grid. Like, remember the old white and black, the sound on the television in the sky?
Oh yeah.
At midnight.
It looked like it. The other strange thing that I try to tell people too, if there are craft, it's really hard to describe them because they show up in so many. It's not all just plasmoid and orbs, and they move so fluently. And then when you're trying to communicate with it, it's like you're communicating with a live being as well, which I know Dr. Greer talks about because this technology, you're communicating with this craft. So it's like you're going through this strange thing that I'm still trying to figure it out all these years later because it's not happening all the time. All my notes were from my first 2 years of this, and then I unfortunately all these 5 years I haven't been taking notes from these experiences because they don't happen, as intensely all the time as well. Like for example, one time in Stroud, one came down and it was perfectly how Dr. Greer described it because it was like 150-ish feet away from us, and the light was so bright it was almost so blinding, but it was pure. And it was astonishing, just like how fast because it just showed bam, bam, bam. And the whole, like, it was funny because like I ran around the whole group and I was giving everybody high fives because I couldn't believe what we were watching. It was incredible. But but the thing about that stuff is, like we were talking about earlier, is about attitudes and just kind of enjoying the moment and appreciating it, because it's not always going to happen,
Right.
True.
appear.
Now, I think the question a moment ago was how do you pick your locations? And along with that, well, also, let's go with this one here first. Where's a good place to start? So how do you pick your locations and how do you gather your folks together? So all kind of roll
So
together.
fantastic. So like I have my way, but of course the number one thing is what are you comfortable with? Where I'm comfortable in the woods. I like the woods, and it's a beautiful scenery. But if you're like, hey, I don't have time or whatever, you can go to your backyard. You can go anywhere you want to go.
Okay.
The thing about that though, I always consider is that my neighbors comfortable with this? Because they may freak out. So that's why I always like going in the woods. Be like, they may not be used to this yet, even though I'm pushing this to other people. Anytime they're interested in this, I know, Dave and whoever, they're not going to probably be interested in this right now.
Gotcha.
But hopefully in the next few years, they'll really be interested in it. But right now, it's still the beginning of it.
Okay.
Anyway, so the way I pick location obviously is comfort. So I'm comfortable to go outside. I'm comfortable to go to the lake because there's usually not a lot of people there year round, and if there are, you can find different spots, and it helps me with what I call coherent thought sequencing. It's the process of the part of the meditation in which you're showing these beings or these people where you're at on the planet. And so when you're using a lake too.
It said don't do it near an airport.
Yes. Airport. I did try to suggest to go near Tinker because some people have had different experiences near Tinker Air Force Base. But I've never tried it. I'm not going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Oh
He
my
did.
goodness.
So
Experiences.
I was going to say, so gathering how do you get the people together, or do you advertise? You just talk to friends, or is it a small group that you already have put together?
A lot of people have contention with the app. A lot of people don't want to pay for an app, the CE5 app that Dr. Greer has. But what was great about that I was able to meet other people on it. So that was how I met my first initial people, my first 4 or 5 groups, if you will.
Okay.
And then I went to Facebook. And then the thing about that is, as you guys probably know, there's a lot of talk and not a lot of, a lot of people talk we're going to go this and that. And there'll be many nights where I got everything ready to go and I'm waiting and they're like, yeah, it's too cold or it's too hot.
Yep.
It's like, hey man, I put in a lot. It's another reason why I do myself. I put in a lot of time in this. So, you can't in this, like in sports, you can't pussyfoot it. You have to go all in or all out. You can't, you got to go 100%. Yeah. I've always looked at it as a sport mindset. If you don't believe in it, you might as well stay home. If you're not going to give it your all, you need to stay home. I know that's a little intense, but I've always in my life I've always only achieved anything if I gave it everything. So if I gave it anything less than that, it just didn't happen. So that was just kind of my sport mindset that kind of led into my CE5 stuff.
Well, I mean, it totally makes sense. Now, when you talked about, you keep mentioning, you meditate, and that's fine. Most people meditate with their eyes closed. Do you meditate with your eyes open so that you just focus on something and then just let things happen? Is that your type of meditation?
No, I meditate with my eyes closed. I've done it. I do it all. Favorite is to go most time if I can go into a dark bathroom, like it was pitch black dark, and it hopefully if it's early in the morning, there's no noise. But if there is, I'll play music. I'm not a big music fan. I know music helps, but there was a time there I kind of got dependent on it, and I kind of had to going back to just kind of going old school. I used to do my body, getting older too. I used to do it like a lotus style, and my body started hurting a lot that way over time. So I kind of have to use a chair these days. Gotcha. Thank you.
Well, the reason I ask is because you said that, you'll see things. Are you just talking about your third eye seeing it, or are you actually seeing things with your eyes open? Because you were talking about the two things. I'm like, wait a minute, your eyes are closed. You can't see anything with your eyes closed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So some of the individuals in my group, they can remote view, or they can view things that are not there. I cannot, and I'm okay with admitting that. And a lot of times I'll get snarky looks from people. It's like, well, when I'm going through this meditation and I'm going through it mentally, I am going through my mind, but I can't see it through this third eye, and I'm okay with that. That's a big contention with you. There's people with abilities, and that's cool. I'm okay with that. I just don't have these abilities. I do a lot of what I'm doing through what I'm trying to project through my mind or my thought in this meditation and feel through my heart. But I don't actually, me personally, I've never remote view, but other people that have gone with me do remote view, or they are capable of tapping into that. I've just never personally been able to.
Okay, thanks for the clarification on that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Your eyes are
sorry, that was
closed.
a little long.
It's like your eyes are closed. How can you see anything unless it's the third eye? Your vision within your third eye. Like,
well,
oh yeah,
that's within the meditation, and then
correct.
when you're looking around to see when these individuals show up, then you're like, hey, oh my goodness, because you're, especially the first few times, used to it, which is a little strange. You're still happy, but you get used to it,
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. I don't know if I have any other questions. Do you guys? Or
We are actually closing in on the hour, guys. So go ahead and promote yourself, Jason. Let everybody know where they can reach out to you to try to get a hold of you for this, the CE5, and whatever you want to get out there. Promote yourself. This is your time.
Okay. So this is going to be my one and only. Unfortunately, we didn't get to talk about. My heart was crushed about the whole podcasting stuff, so I don't really think this is going to be it for me. What I will say is that please look into James Leland, look into Peter Maxwell Slattery. Understand that you are more than enough to get in contact with extraterrestrial beings. For whatever reason you have for yourself, that everybody has their own reasons. I want you guys to be empowered by this. I want you guys to know that you're supported in by me and by other people in this world, even if I've never met you, because this is something that's real, it's beautiful, it's important. And whatever you want to attach to that importance, that's up to you. I have my own reasons, just like everybody else does. But I think ultimately it's going to help us out on this planet and in our hearts. And just please, whatever you do, don't make fun of people that are going into this, because this is a really big deal. This is hopefully going to be part of our civilizational norm in the next few generations. And please just keep your eyes up and keep it in your heart, and know that these people out there love you, and you shouldn't fear them.
Very cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk to you a little bit after this, and have some snacks.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Hang out the green room, and we'll be there shortly.
All right, guys. Who we got coming up next week?
Lawrence, somebody. Larry.
Larry Lawson from FBPI.
Oh yeah.
He's ex-law enforcement, so I was really stoked to see them reach out, and they wanted to come on to EPP. Unfortunately, I'm booked up for this season, so I asked them to come on next season. Then I was like, all right. It's like, oh, let's get you on AMOK. Let's get you on AMOK. So they liked it. I'm going Australian. They liked it, and they said, okay. So we have Larry Lawson coming on next week from FBPI. So
very exciting.
Stay tuned for that. Now, what do we got up? We got the conventions coming up I
have Haunted America. I will be at that in 3 weeks, something like that. 3 weeks from now, and that's up in Alton, Illinois. So I will be there. After that, we got lunches and stuff in, I think, July and
we got tons.
August, and then
July, August,
September,
is and October.
Big, because we have
August is booked for me, except for the weekend of my birthday.
Border Town, August the 8th. That's our So that's what's coming up soon.
It's her fun one. And me and my group will be in Geneseo, Kansas, the week of the 28th. At Kansas UFO Day. We'll be speaking there on the missing and deceased scientists. So
very cool.
Topic
that sounds exciting. Are y'all going to be live or?
We may try to go live. I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is up there. I don't remember.
You ought to try talking to your library and see if they have the hotspots available.
Our library, I wish we did. I wish we did.
That was tongue in cheek. Come on.
Yes.
I know you were
But-
saying that. But
Yes,
maybe there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, until next time, we'll see you guys next week.
That's
Stay
right.
A.M.O.K.
Stay A.M.O.K.
Good night, everybody.
Stay A.M.O.K.